English.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Cho.
And I'm Cameron Word.
We would like to tell you that every Friday we have a business dialogue for you.
We do.
Yes. And we are talking about selling the family business this month.
Yes.
Yes. It touched a nerve. So a family business is very personal.
Yeah.
It's like, we have to keep it, with tradition.
Yeah.
Has to be in the family. So the idea of selling the family business, I think, would be a very difficult one.
Yeah, it's true. To touch a nerve. 신경을 건드렸어요.
Oh, 신경
Yeah,
건드렸어.
it touched a nerve.
Yeah.
It means you're very sensitive to it. So this means you probably had a very sensitive reaction. Maybe you yelled, you were angry, or maybe you cried.
Yeah.
It brought a very
Strong
emotion inside of you.
Right. So touch a nerve. It can be anger.
Yeah.
It could be sadness. It could be many things.
Yes.
Right?
But it's usually a negative emotion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Basically the older generation, maybe the grandfather or the father, it touched a nerve for them.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You work your whole life to build something.
Right.
And your son or grandson is like,
we should sell it.
I should sell
Yeah,
it.
right.
Oh.
Okay. So that's why it can touch a nerve. Some expressions that we're going to cover today are as follows. The touch a nerve is one of them. Hang on to something is another one.
This means to keep. In this case, it means to not throw away, to keep it in your possession.
Okay, hang on to. And run something into the ground. This is an interesting expression. Run something into the ground. Really? Like you're going to just get it into the ground, under the ground?
That is the image here. So it's when you are using something or maybe you are managing something and you're doing it until it is no longer good. It's no longer usable.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like if you run it into the ground, it's done. You can't do anything with it.
You basically ruined it.
Got it. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and listen to our biz dialogue.
How did the family meeting go?
Talking about selling something that's been in the family for 100 years really touched a nerve with the older generation.
They must have a strong emotional attachment to the business.
It's true. Even after I explained why we can no longer compete, they still want to hang on to it.
It sounds like you don't really want to run a failing business.
Running a family business into the ground doesn't look good on a resume.
Okay, please join us on page 44. You can find our power dialogue, Selling the Family Business, It Touched a Nerve. Sarah says, how did the family meeting go? So all the family members got together. And Grady says, talking about selling something that's been in the family for 100 years really touched a nerve with the older generation. So the younger generation, they're all like, it's a great idea, let's do it. But this business is 100 years old. The older generation, it touched a nerve.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine so.
Yeah.
Because they worked very hard.
Sure.
Also, older generations usually want to keep tradition going.
Right.
In both a good way and a bad way.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Sometimes younger generations are too quick to change things when it's better to keep their tradition.
Right.
So this touching a nerve is whenever they say something, and in this case, it might have been an explosion. In a sense of, what do you mean, sell the family business?
A big reaction.
Right. So this touching a nerve, it feels like you just did a light touch. Maybe you just mentioned the topic very softly, and then an immediate reaction was, this huge reaction.
I see. So actually, it sounds like a little something, but the reaction is big, you're saying. Okay. So if it touched a nerve with the older generation, probably they were upset.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Could
yeah.
upset, frustrated,
Angry. sad,
Yeah.
feeling like they were been betrayed.
Yeah, betrayed even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. A lot of emotions. Okay, Sarah says what?
They must have had a strong emotional attachment to the business.
They must have had a strong emotional attachment. That's what you just said, right? That they have an emotional attachment. If you have an attachment, especially emotional attachment, what do you have?
So this attachment here in Korean, like 애착, right?
애착.
Right?
Very good, yes.
So you just feel, I don't know, like you can't stop.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd feel sad. And sometimes this attachment, obviously, if it's a business, I can definitely understand. But I think as humans, sometimes we get emotional attachment to things that we don't need to.
Yeah.
For example, like there is one t-shirt. It is the last t-shirt that I ever bought in the United States.
Okay.
It's like 15 years old at this point. It is falling apart.
But you still have it?
I can't get rid of it.
Really?
I have an emotional attachment to it. I don't wear it. It's just in my it's just in my drawer.
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you know that in my drawer, I also have a few outfits of my son's?
Like his baby outfits?
His baby clothes.
Oh.
I gave away most of the clothes because they were really nice, but I have a few outfits that I just cannot.
You have an attachment to them.
I have an emotional attachment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to, I don't think you're going to have another baby. No. So you're probably not going to use them again.
And then one pair of shoes.
Oh, the baby shoes are so cute.
They're so small and just so, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I look at him, he's 18, and I have these little baby clothes.
Can you put them on your dog, Scotty? When he goes outside, he needs another pair?
He needs another pair. I only have one pair.
I see.
Okay. All right. Grady says,
it's true. Even after I explained why we can no longer compete, they still want to hang on to it.
Okay, we've got a lot of things here. Grady says, even after I explained. So even after is our power pattern today.
Yes. So even after means I did what I was supposed to do, or I did what I was expected to do, and even still, things did not change.
Right. And so he explained everything. We cannot compete.
Yes.
We're going to go downhill real quick. They still wanted to hang on to it. If you want to hang on to something,
you don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's going back to your son's baby clothes.
Right. I'm hanging on to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not getting rid of it.
Right. It's true. It's hard to let go.
It is.
Some things, it doesn't make sense why you have it, but because of your emotional attachment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, our Power English textbooks.
Yeah.
Our Power English books that we have.
I have an emotional attachment.
I did. And then I was hanging on to them. I had like 3 or 4 years, 3 years, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
I finally threw them away.
It's okay. I understand.
I kept my first one. And I kept a couple when the design, the 표지가 바뀔 때. Like I changed it when the front page changed.
Okay.
But
you had to let it go.
There were too many.
I know. I understand. Sarah says, it sounds like you don't really want to run a failing business. So Sarah is saying, well, it's a failing business. It's a family business, but it's not doing well.
Yeah.
Grady?
Running a family business into the ground doesn't look good on a resume.
Okay. If you run a business or if you run something into the ground, what are you doing?
So this is whenever you are maintaining or managing the business and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And if you run it into the ground, it means that it's done. Like the business is finished. There's nothing left.
Right. So running it into the ground just means then it's completely failed.
Yeah. Can't use it anymore.
You can't use it. So it's failing as they speak.
Yeah.
But, if you let it go on for a little bit longer, it's going to run into the ground.
Right. So now, if they sell it now, they can maybe still get some money.
Right.
But later, if they run it into the ground, the company's going to be worthless.
That's right.
No one's going to want to buy it anyway.
Right. Okay, let's go ahead and listen to that one more time.
How did the family meeting go?
Talking about selling something that's been in the family for 100 years really touched a nerve with the older generation.
They must have a strong emotional attachment to the business.
That's true. Even after I explained why we can no longer compete, they still want to hang on to it.
It sounds like you don't really want to run a failing business.
Running a family business into the ground doesn't look good on a resume.
It's time for Power Note. We're on pages 46 and 47. If it touches a nerve, it means that it causes a strong emotional reaction, which is usually a negative reaction.
Yes.
Okay? So your comment on the environment seemed to touch a nerve.
Well, a lot of people don't like to hear an opposing perspective.
Okay. So yeah, maybe something that you say can touch a nerve. Maybe it's offending somebody. Like, how could you say that?
Yeah.
Right? It touches a nerve. My mom seemed to touch a nerve when she mentioned my dad's previous job.
Ooh.
What does this mean?
So Dad's last job, something happened. We don't know what happened, but something bad happened. So Mom mentioned that job, and Dad was not happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like touching a nerve sometimes can be that you're maybe a little bit sensitive about a certain subject or sensitive about something, and someone touches a nerve.
Yes. And it's usually a negative anger kind of emotion.
Right.
It can be sadness, but for example, let's say that someone has lost a member of their family. Like their mother or father has passed away. And you mention something about the father, and that makes the person cry.
Yeah.
Obviously, that happens, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if we could necessarily use that here. That's not necessarily touching a nerve.
Right.
You did create a strong negative emotion, the crying, but it isn't exactly the same thing.
Right.
Here, with this previous job, maybe there was a scandal. So then the dad is like really upset about it.
Right.
That's more, I feel like it's more of that, that sort of feeling whenever you're touching a nerve with someone.
It's like, 건드렸어.
Yeah.
Someone touched you in a sensitive spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hang on to something means to keep, to not throw away. Like, and if you hang on to it, maybe you shouldn't, but you still do.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. Not always.
Yeah.
Okay? Should I throw out these old postcards from France?
No, I want to hold on to those. They're happy memories.
Okay, hang on to those.
Yes.
Yes. You could say hold on to those too. Right. We decided to hang on to the electronics division, but sell the mining division.
Oh, so this is business related.
Yes.
They're selling parts of the business,
right,
but hanging on to other ones.
Oh, that's interesting. So hanging on, keep it, and then letting go of certain things.
Yeah.
Okay. And we talked about how we've hung on to a lot of things. Is there something that you feel like you could, aside from Power English books, is there anything else that you have hung on to?
So you know how in Korea, when you get the national health insurance slip that says how much you paid?
Right.
I think I have like 6 years of those just in a box.
Really? Why are you hanging on to those things?
I don't know if are you allowed to throw them away? I've just been hanging on to the thing that says, oh, you made the monthly payment. You know? I get the automatic, it comes out of my account automatically. Right. But they also send you that piece of paper that says you paid this month in health insurance.
Oh, you can throw them away.
I have so many of them.
The government has all the records, Cameron.
Right, but I was like, maybe
just in case,
maybe Korean government will need it, or maybe the U.S. government will need this information.
Right.
I have hung on to them for like 6 years at this point.
Oh my goodness, you're so funny. Now you can go home after this recording.
Throw them away.
And throw them away.
I need to cut them first. I think there's like another thing I was worried is there's information on there, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a paper shredder.
Well, you just rip it.
Rip it up.
Yeah, rip it up.
Rip it real good. Yeah.
So things that have sentimental value to us, it's hard to, it's easy to hang on to.
Or tickets, like you hang on to your plane ticket.
Your plane tickets.
Hang on to, like you go to the theater, hang on to your ticket.
Yes.
So you can get back in.
Oh, yes.
Right? You don't want to throw away your ticket as soon as you enter.
That is so true. Or even watching a movie, you don't want to throw away your ticket because you got to do the parking if you drive.
Oh, yeah. Hang on to your receipt.
Hang on to your receipt.
What if you have to return the item you bought?
You have to definitely hang on to your receipt.
Right.
Very good. Okay, great examples. If you run something into the ground, and I think into is a key word here, it's like you're just like burying it.
Yeah.
It's like a graveyard.
Yeah. It's not moving.
It's not moving. It's not functioning. I see you got a new car.
I had to. My wife and kids ran the old one into the ground over the past 3 years.
Okay.
I think this might be the origin of the phrase. Like one of those cars, you just drive and you drive and you drive until the car falls apart.
Yeah.
It is on the ground. And it is not moving
It is
anymore.
not moving.
You've run that car into the ground.
Okay. Jack ran the organization into the ground as president. What did he do?
Ruined the organization.
He ruined it.
Just bad money management.
Yeah.
Bad maybe management with human resources.
Right.
It was a great company and now it's awful.
Oh, it's terrible. So I guess a bad CEO can run a company into the ground too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is not good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You can run a radio program into the ground.
You mean Power English?
No, never.
Never.
But it can happen. Like
sure.
get a new person comes in and they change the program.
And they're terrible.
The fans don't like it. Yeah,
Right.
It's possible.
It's possible. Okay, even after is our power pattern. Okay?
I did this thing. But it didn't change the result.
I see. Okay. Even after that big meal, I'll still be hungry for dessert.
Yeah, I think there's a typo here. I'll still be hungry for dessert.
Oh, yes, that's right. There is a missing B there. I'll still be hungry for dessert.
Even after flying for 8 hours, I'm not tired.
Wow, you're a superhero.
Yeah, that coffee was really strong.
It was really strong.
Really strong coffee.
Okay, attachment is a great word. So when you're attached to something, you're emotionally connected, usually,
yes.
right? So that's why you hang on to things, you can't throw it away. Do look at the definition on page 48. And what else should our listeners do?
You can go to Audio Ohakdang, and for a small monthly fee, you can listen to this show, listen to other shows by us, listen to shows not by us, but are on EBS Radio, for example.
Absolutely.
It is a great source with lots of wonderful educational content.
All right. Make sure you join us at 6 p.m. on our live show evening special. We'll see you tonight. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.